All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started here. Welcome to everybody. I hope you guys all had a blessed and safe summer as we continue to travel through these unprecedented times. I appreciate you all for taking some time out of your busy schedules to be with us here tonight. We do have quite a bit to get through during tonight's session, so we'll go ahead and get started right away. I just want to take an opportunity to introduce to you guys, everybody here with us on the call. You have myself, I'm Mr. Harmon. I am the Chief School Director for middle school grades 7 and 8. We do have Mrs. Class, who's going to be the Chief School Director for grades 5th and 6th. She was not able to be present tonight because she had prior commitments. So I will go ahead and cover everything, but she will be the point of contact as the Chief Middle School Director for grades 5th and 6th. We also have with us Ms. Stephanie Hutzelik. She is the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. Mr. Robert Burson, he is the Team Leader for grades 5th and 6th. Mr. Larry Ford, he is the Team Leader for grades 7 and 8. Mrs. Tricia Shoemaker, she is our middle school counselor for grades 5th through 8. And we also have on the call Mrs. Sarah Evans. She is the Director of Special Education, grades 5th through 8. And we also have Mr. Danny Hargrove on the call. We weren't able to get him added to the slide, so I apologize about that, Danny. But we also have Mr. Hargrove on the call. He is our instructional technology specialist. So he'll go over some IT things with you guys toward the conclusion of this session. So I just want to start off by giving you guys a bit of a rundown. And before I go ahead and get started, guys, we will have a Q&A session at the end of this Zoom. So please just, again, keep your mics muted so we don't have any background noise. And if you have any questions, please just be patient with us. We'll go ahead and get all questions answered at the conclusion of this session. If there's anything that we are not able to address and get answered, we will make sure that we inventory those inquiries and make sure that we get the questions answered and posted on our website and Facebook page for you guys to view. But I'm pretty confident we'll be able to answer all your questions because we have all the players here on the call. So I just want to start off by giving you guys a quick rundown of a day in virtual learning for our middle school students. In a nutshell, what it's going to consist of, at 8:30 every day, our team leaders are going to be facilitating assembly. So we're trying to keep things as normal as possible, despite the fact that we're virtual. So each morning, Mr. Burson and Mr. Ford are going to facilitate their assemblies at 8:30 a.m. There will be a reoccurring link that your child will be able to find within their homeroom teacher's Google Classroom, that your child will be able to access that link for assembly every morning. Same thing for GGI. GGI is going to start at 9 o'clock a.m. immediately following assembly. And GGI is where we're going to take attendance. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the presentation. So it's very important that your students are on GGI. I'll reiterate that, but I can't emphasize that enough. That'll be at 9 o'clock, facilitated by the homeroom teacher. Then we'll have academic instruction in small groups throughout the morning. Students will be allowed to, have a little lunch break. And then the expectation is that they get back into some academic instruction in small groups again throughout the course of the afternoon. At the conclusion of each day, team leaders are also going to have another assembly. It'll probably be brief in nature, but just to kind of wrap up the day, share anything pertinent, make any announcements that they feel relevant. And we'll have office hours. Teachers will have office hours from 2 to 3 o'clock. And in any event that your students have any questions or you need to call in for anything of that nature. I want to take an opportunity to talk to you guys a little bit about PE. So PDE has not waived the requirement for all students to participate in phys ed. Okay, so we have eliminated specials from our schedule based off of what we experienced in the spring when we first rolled out our virtual instruction and we were kind of scrambling around. We realized that having specials on top of academic instruction for our students is a bit overwhelming, especially when you're doing it virtually. So we've gone ahead and eliminated specials for the time being. So there won't be any Spanish, there won't be any art, there won't be any business for our students, but we still will be required to do gym in some capacity. So although it has not been allocated into the school day schedule, students are required to maintain and submit a weekly activity log to their phys ed teacher. In addition, students will watch short weekly PE videos and complete related questions as review. So Mr. Zander, who's our middle school gym teacher, he's going to have a Google Classroom just like every other teacher. And it will be your child's responsibility to just make sure that they're checking into his Google Classroom, seeing the video that he posts. He'll have, again, some questions for review that they'll need to answer. And essentially, Jim is going to be pass-fail. So that's pretty much what we'll do as far as the phys ed portion. I mean, we want to keep kids as active as possible. They're obviously not coming to school on a regular basis. So we just want to make sure that we're fulfilling that expectation that the state has of us as far as physical education is concerned.
So this year, our 5th through 8th grade will be content specific. Each student will see 4 core teachers, 1 for reading, math, science, and social studies. Students will have a Google Classroom for each of these subjects set up similarly. This is where all important information can be found, such as assignments, teacher communication, and Zoom links. 5th grade will be using a program called Accelerate as their content this school year. 6th through 8th grade will be using a similar program called Apex. Videos and articles can be found here for students. Assignments, discussions, tests, and projects can be found here as well. This is the primary platform that learning will be taking place in this school year. Supplemental programs will be used throughout the year as well, such as Imagine Math, to help students improve their fact fluency that they may need to make up and move at an individualized pace through video game-like math activities. Smart Futures, another supplemental program, allows students in middle school to begin learning about who they are and allows them to explore career groups they may be interested in. USA Test Prep is also a program students will have access to through their teacher to guide them in the skills they need to succeed and improve areas they may be struggling. Some of these resources will be assigned in the Google Classroom to all students in a whole class approach. Starting the week of September 14th, students will complete dibbles and star placement tests in small groups via Zoom so teachers can assess where students are academically as they come back to school for the year. Students will then receive instruction via small groups throughout the week, allowing a more personal approach to learning based on individual student needs. When students are not meeting in small groups, they will be responsible to work independently and take ownership for their success in completing assignments. Students will be closely monitored, and any student that is in need of extra support will receive it through our multi-tiered system of support program by way of intervention or enrichment. Like last year, all grades will be accessed through PowerSchool. Parents wishing to contact teachers may do so via email or during office hours. And those seeking additional support can contact the school to learn a little bit more about some tutoring opportunities we may have in the evenings once school begins.
Thank you, Ms. Hutzlet. So I just want to take an opportunity to go over with you guys. I mentioned attendance. It's paramount that we make sure our students are engaging, obviously, on a day-to-day basis, but considering the fact that we chose as a school based off of the feedback of parents as well as our teachers to be asynchronous, we do understand that we need to be flexible as far as people being able to have connectivity. It might vary for family to family as far as time of day. So I will go over the attendance policy right now and explain to you what our expectations are, but this is school. So we will be taking attendance very seriously, and we will be following up if a student is not present on a regular basis. So the Pennsylvania Department of Education has directed schools to consider both the data regarding student access and the completion of assigned learning activities to determine whether an individual student was present or absent. For a student to be marked present for the day, a student must be present for GGI and complete the daily assignments that are scripted by Accelerate. So before I go ahead and go over the 3-6-10-day policy that we've always had in place, guys, that's not going to change. I just want to make clear once again, we're going to be facilitating GGI every morning at 9 o'clock, okay? That link too will also be in your students' homeroom teacher's Google Classroom. Your students' responsibility as soon as assembly concludes, even if they don't make it to assembly, which I'm not encouraging they don't go to assembly. I hope that they're on assembly every day. But if for whatever reason they'll make it to assembly, they have to get on to their Google Classroom, homeroom teacher's Google Classroom, click the reoccurring link for GGI, and that is where attendance is going to be from 9 o'clock to 9:30. That is the window in which attendance is going to be taken by that homeroom teacher. Now, and again, we understand that we're trying to be as flexible as possible. So, okay, my student can't make it on between 9 and 9:30 because we have X, Y, and Z going on, but we still are going to make sure that we're being responsible and doing work throughout the course of the day. How do I get credit for my attendance? You need to have your student, again, just being proactive, okay? If a student can't make GGI, they need to simply email their homeroom teacher, CC their community coach and team leader, just simply stating, I was not able to make GGI today. I just wanted to check in, let you know that I am on top of doing my work, just a check-in. At that particular point in time, once we get that correspondence, we will account for your child and make sure that they get credit for being present for the day. Now, the state is allowing us to code in PowerSchool, depending on the circumstance, different things. So if it's a connectivity issue, we have a code for that. If it's just a simple late because they slept in and just missed GGI, then we have a code for late. So forth and so on. So just depending on the circumstance, and again, we're going to be in communication with you guys. Team leaders are going to be calling, teachers are going to be calling, community coaches are going to be calling, I'll be calling. So we'll be in communication with you guys. But the expectation is that you guys take initiative, have your children take initiative to simply just shoot us an email to state, I wasn't on GGI, just wanted to account for my attendance, boom, and we'll make sure that they get taken care of. Now, if for whatever reason we do not get that email before midnight on that given day, the student is going to be marked absent. Okay, I mean, we need you guys to work with us with this virtual process, with as far as attendance and everything is concerned, as much as we're trying to accommodate and work with you all. Okay, so if you have 3 cumulative absences, a letter is going to be generated like we typically do, and it's going to be hand delivered by myself, by a team leader, or by a community coach to your door. If you have 6 cumulative absences, a letter will be generated and delivered to your residence. If you have 10 cumulative absences, excused or unexcused, the student will have approximately missed 70 hours of instruction at that time. So, you know, depending on the circumstance, again, it's all about fluid communication. Depending on the circumstance, depending on the situation, you know, administration will review at that particular point in time, you know, where things are at, and we'll have that conversation when we get there. You know, I put in bold here, it's important for you guys to remember that attendance is the law. The Department of Education requires that your children are present for school, and failure to adhere to the attendance parameters set forth by the state may, and I emphasize may, again, it's all circumstantial, so let's just make sure we're keeping the line of communication open, but may result in receiving a fine from the magistrate. So, you know, I don't think that we'll get there. We've never really been there with any of our students. But again, it's important that you guys understand that we are still expecting our students to be active and logging on and being accounted for on a regular basis.
Okay, good evening, everybody. If you have a student who receives special education, a 504, or receives gifted supports, they are going to continue to receive all of the supports outlined in their program as if they were typically in the building. Case managers are going to reach out and do small group or individual instruction through Zoom meetings and through Google Classroom. IEPs, 504s, gifted IEPs will continue to be renewed through Zoom meetings or phone call. Case managers will also be reaching out soon to discuss revisions that may be made to your child's document to be reflective of virtual learning. So we understand not everything applies when students are at home, so there will be minor changes here or there that case managers will reach out to you about either through Zoom or through a phone call. We still have our paraprofessionals who will be working with students like they were at the end of last year through Zoom meetings. They will still be available to provide support to students who need it. I embedded a link in this slide, so when it gets posted, if you would like to check out this link, it provides more links and more resources for parents and teachers for students with disabilities. So if you feel free, you can check that out. There's a ton of stuff there. Related services such as speech, occupational therapy, physical therapy, those are going to continue as well. Mr. Weber, our speech therapist, will be reaching out to set those meetings up soon, as will our occupational therapist and physical therapist. So if you have any questions about special ed, gifted, 504, you can feel free to reach out to me. I think we have contact information posted at the end, so you feel free to write down my email address. You can reach out to me anytime. Just to touch on English language learners, they'll continue to receive support as well. Students in housing transition, if you are moving or homeless or you have your own particular housing situation, just please reach out to your child's team leader or CSD. We can help support you through that. And then I know Ms. H touched a little bit on the multi-tiered system of support. We will still be utilizing that. That's our system of support where we provide tiered interventions to address struggling learners. So we're going to do our best to address all of the needs of our students and move them through those tiers as if we were in the building. So like I said, any questions about any of this stuff, just feel free to reach out to me later on.
Thank you, Mrs. Evans. Mrs. Shoemaker.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So my name is Tricia Shoemaker. I am going to be the new middle school counselor. Can't tell you how excited I am to be here. I interned with Executive spring of last year, so I had the opportunity to meet with many of your children, and I absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet everyone with it being cut a little short, but I'm ecstatic to be back. With the middle school counseling program being newer this year, I'm really hoping to start and just build and implement some more just some exciting things for the students. I'm going to be following the foundation of the American School Counseling Association model. We call that ASCA. So that's kind of going to be my starting point. And in regards to that, I want to exceed those expectations. I want to start with career exploration. We're going to be doing that at least twice a month on a different career. And social emotional learning is also going to be a very huge point. And we're going to be focusing on weekly skill development and small groups within that. I know when I interned, there was some focus on anger management and social skills, but that social emotional learning component has been found to be really, really important. And especially because we're not able to be face to face. I think that's, there's that barrier there, but I want to break that down, and we're going to do that. I'm a huge supporter of collaboration and open communication. So please reach out to me if there's issues. With that in mind, I'm going to have a school counseling Google Classroom available to the students, and I will be creating some type of virtual resource for students, parents, and staff to have access to freely, whether it's for mental health issues, whether it's behavior, whether it's just local resources. I want to get that going definitely by the beginning of the school year, if not sooner. We will be able to offer some short-term individualized counseling. And of course, that would be with parent permission. We do have that resource available, or even refer out to outpatient resources as well. Peer mediation, which, again, we're going to be looking at a lot of this virtual stuff. If not, you're going to take into consideration cyberbullying or being withdrawn from peers. So that's really where I will also be working with 504s for grades 7 and 8 and through 12. So again, I'm very excited to work with all of you, see some of the familiar faces and get the program up and running and going well.
Excellent. Thank you, Mrs. Shoemaker. So I'll touch briefly with you guys about the food program. We are going to have a food program this year. Pickup will take place every Monday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will have the campus. We'll identify a location that you guys are going to pick up the meals. Everything will be labeled. It'll be like a cattle chute, cookie trail, whatever you want to call it, to get to the location. And everything will be labeled for you guys on Monday, so you'll know exactly where you're going. You won't be able to miss it to pick up the meals. It'll be one pickup will include a week's worth of food, so 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches. Pickup will be on the west side of the building. The door will be identified, as I alluded to, with a meal service sign. Students are encouraged to be present with parents to receive the meals. It gives us an opportunity, again, to account for your child, because we do want to account for each child physically at least once a month. So it gives us a time to interact with them. We miss our students. There's just no way around that. We're in education for a reason. So just any small bit of interaction for the student, for us, it just goes a long way. So team leaders are going to be a part of that process. Community coaches are going to be a part of that process. Some of our teachers who are working remotely or who will be at the building, you might get an opportunity to see them at that particular point in time. They might poke their head outside. So, it's just important for us to put eyes on the student. If that's a particular time that they could come, we encourage it. If for whatever reason, we understand it's not going to always be possible. So if for whatever reason a student is not present, you as the parent who has come to pick up the meal, you must have their student ID number. Okay, that is the system that we're going to use to account for the meals through Linton's. So you have to have their student ID number in order for us to disperse to you meals for the week. Okay, so that's pretty much our meal program. It's pretty cut and dry.
All right, am I up?
Yes, sir, Mr. Ford.
This is me, all right. So before we get started, I just want to make sure all of our parents are still here and we're still awake and we're still alive. There's a reaction button down there at the bottom of your screen. You get 2 options. You could put a thumbs up or you could do a hand clap. So I want to see some hand claps and some thumbs up to make sure we're here, we're ready, we're still alive. I see it clap right there. All right, I saw another one. There we go. I see them now. There we go. All right, we're still here. All right. Let's rock and roll. All right, student expectations for this year. All right, obviously things are going to look a lot different being at home compared to being at school. Students need to log into the Accelerate or APEX every day and complete their daily learning assignments. So obviously, Ms. Hutzlick spoke on the APEX and the Accelerate piece. The teachers will be reaching out to students here very soon once they get the rosters and everything finalized. I know some students believe have already logged in and got into their APEX and Accelerate. So make sure your kids are checking their emails on a daily basis so they could get that information from staff. Kids are required to attend daily Zoom meetings with their teachers when they are scheduled. So I know a lot last year during the 4th quarter, just me being on a lot of Zooms with teachers, there wasn't a lot of kids in the Zooms and the Google Classrooms with the teachers. So we highly recommend the kids attend those Zoom sessions because the teachers are going to be doing a lot more teaching whenever it comes to the Zoom meetings and the Google Classrooms and things of that nature. So if the kids have any questions or concerns, it's imperative for them to be into that Zoom meeting so they can ask questions for whatever assignment that they need questions answered for, okay? Ask for help when they are confused. Don't be afraid to open your mouths whenever you need a helping hand, all right? Check into your Google Classroom daily for additional assignments. Again, just make sure that they're on top of it and make sure they're getting their assignments done and taken care of. Everything is going to be pretty much in their school emails. So just make sure they're checking their school emails on a daily basis so they can get the information from staff. All right. 10 daily assemblies and GGI, like Mr. Harmon alluded to. So I saw a question down there just now asking what is GGI. So obviously in the mornings, we will start with our assemblies at 8:30. We will do our hands up process. We will do we will do the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll do staff announcements, and then we'll go on about our day when it comes to the assemblies. GGI is next at 9 o'clock. So GGI is like a guided group intervention. So we pretty much have kids speak about certain things. So certain topics, just to name a few. The kids on Mondays, the kids will probably check in with their teachers like, hey, how was your weekend? What'd you guys do, et cetera, et cetera. Tuesday would be a topic maybe like current events, like what's going on in the world today, things of that nature. Wednesday could be careers, so we can hit on careers, what these kids are going to be expected of when they graduate, going into jobs, et cetera, et cetera. So that's pretty much how GGI is going to look this year, Monday through Friday. There'll be a topic for 7th and 8th grade. There'll be a topic every day that the teachers will hit on, and the kids obviously need to be present for that. And again, like Mr. Harmon alluded to, that's where we're going to be taking attendance. So it's imperative that they're in the GGI so we can get the attendance situated. Let your parents know what you are working on so they can help you too. Obviously you guys are there. A lot of you probably going to be at work and you're not going to be able to help your kid whenever they need some type of help, which is why it's imperative that they're on the Zoom meetings with their teachers in case you guys are not able to assist with them. Stay flexible, responsible, and positive. Again, we're going through a pandemic. There's a lot going on right now, and we obviously want to see these kids succeed. We want everybody to be positive, and we're going to get through this thing together. So just make sure the kids are staying positive. I'll be checking in with the kids. My community coach, Mr. Rice, will be checking in with the kids a lot too, and teachers. So there's a lot of support. We're here for the kids, and that's what our main job is we're here pretty much for the kids. Okay, so that's the student expectation slide. Okay, next we got parent expectations. Okay, make sure your child can access all of the programs on their device. So obviously, some kids probably have a little more difficulty than others when it comes to technology. So if you guys can obviously assist your kid with getting into their emails, getting into their Zooms, getting into their Power Schools, it would be much better off for them and obviously much better off for us. Establish a routine so students always have to complete their work. Set an alarm clock for them. Obviously, we're encouraging all those kids to be in our assembly at 8:30 a.m. sharp. So, and get them up, get them in a routine. That way they can, have a nice little flow throughout the virtual learning process this school year, okay? Allow students to work independently, help them get onto programs, but do not help them complete their work. Obviously, we're not sitting here saying that, parents are doing the work for the kids, but let them be independent and get it on their own. If they have any type of questions or concerns, obviously they can ask you guys, but that's what the teachers are for. That's what the community coach is for, and that's what myself is for if they have any type of questions pertaining to work. Because I know a lot of you, like I said, are going to be working during this time, so they need to utilize the teachers as much as they possibly can. Check in with the students to see what they are learning. Obviously keep tabs on them. To see what they're doing and if they're getting their work done. We had a lot of issues last year in the fourth quarter where parents didn't even know the kids was doing the work because the student will tell a parent, yes, I did the work, and they really didn't do it. So it's imperative that you guys check in with them just to see, what they're learning and if they're actually doing the work or not. Maintain open communication with your child's teacher and support staff. I'm here if you guys need me. I will personally give all parents in this group, 7th and 8th grade, my cell phone number. You could contact me anytime, any day. I will answer you as fast and as swift as I possibly can. But always communicate with myself, communicate with the teachers, and that'll be the best case scenario to help your child in this virtual learning process. Reach out if you need help. Self-explanatory, and it's obviously, like we said with the students, for you guys as well to stay flexible, responsible, and positive. I know parents this is going to be the toughest thing that you guys are going to go through, because none of us has asked for this. We didn't ask for a pandemic. We didn't ask for virtual learning. We've never been in this situation before, but we all got to work together to succeed. And if we work together to succeed, we'll have a positive virtual learning, and it'll work out as best as it possibly can for the kids. So love you guys. Again, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here for you, and we're here for your kids. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. And just real quick before you go, Mr. Burson, I do see there's a lot of questions being asked in the chat. That's no problem. That's what it's for. But I do want to encourage you guys to just, if you can, hang on to asking your questions until the end. I mean, we might benefit as a group. One person might have a question and might not see the answer in the chat. So we will do a brief Q&A at the conclusion of this session. So I encourage you guys to just hold off on your questions and let us get those answered when the session concludes, so that everybody can benefit from hearing our responses. Thank you. Mr. Burson?
All right. Yep. I had to unmute myself. Forgot about that. I was answering those chats. All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mr. Burson. I'm the team leader for 5th and 6th grade. Just like to talk a little bit about this slide, about our expectations, what we are doing. For the team leaders and the community coaches, we're going to function as it's a regular school day. Okay, that's our routine. Our job is to obviously track attendance. We do that daily. We're going to deal with discipline. Ms. Shoemaker had mentioned some things about cyberbullying. All right, so that's still an issue. So we're going to deal with some of those. We're going to enforce and encourage students for the normative culture. Our norms are expected behaviors, whether we're in school face-to-face or whether we have a whole list of virtual norms that's going to be shared with the students in their Google Classrooms with their homeroom teachers. So we're trying to, keep it safe, keep it smart, and keep them within our norms, our expected behaviors. Liaison and mediation, there potentially can be some peer-to-peer negativity that occurs, cyberbullying, negative comments towards each other. So myself and my community coach, Mr. Talib, and along with Mr. Ford and Mr. Rice, will step in and to mediate those situations. Again, we're still trying, for 5th and 6th grade, my thing is we're trying to shape them in to handle situations on their own, but make sure that they're doing it within our norms and our expected behaviors. Food distribution, we're going to be part of that. Home visits, attendance letters, we're going to be out in the community. We're going to be helping, we're going to be able to support. We want to deliver things. We want to help out as much as we can. You see down at the bottom, support, support, support. We're going to support children. We're going to support students, families, and our staff. That's what we do. We are going to have a Wi-Fi hotspot that is out in the back of the school under a pavilion. So if there's any type of in-person session that a parent and team leader meeting that needs to occur, we can do it as long as we're utilizing social guidelines or social distancing guidelines. All right, we'll be able to do it. But team leaders and community coaches will be reaching out. We love to communicate. Just over the past month, Mr. Harmon, Mr. Ford, and myself have made over 400 and some phone calls to try and reach out to people to get their computers and just to double check to make sure they're coming back. So communication during this time is key. So that's going to be the big thing. If students aren't participating, just like Mr. Ford said, GGI is a time where we're going to take attendance. Okay, we're going to be, the next day, we're going to be double checking on attendance, 1-2 days, what's going on. So we're going to be reaching out to families, okay, to get them up to a level of engagement that's suitable for us, and it's within our norms and our expected behaviors. So, and again, support, support, support. That's what we want to do. Help you out as much as you can. You'll see at the end, there's a list. You can call me, email me, text me. Just like Mr. Ford says, we're all about it. Okay, we help each other out, and that's what we try to put on the kids too. Help each other out in a supportive community. All right, just some of the program components. I know there was a few questions out there. Assembly is an opportunity for us to share information to the kids, all right, to the students. Now, in a regular situation, we have 216 students in our assembly after breakfast, and we go over and we share information. Obviously, beginning of this year, we're going to have to do it virtually. It's going to be a little bit different. We're going to try to get the kids to come to assembly. We're going to do some incentives. I hate to use the word loose. Mr. Harmon does not like the word loose. I try not to use it either, but we have to, okay? It's been a tough time for everybody. All right, we need that interaction. The kids need that interaction. You need to be a little bit loose, but within our norms. All right, I know Mr. Harmon, but again, so that's what assembly is going to be. We're going to share information. We'll do that in the morning to get them ready, and then also in the afternoon just to seal the day off. GGI, for the most part, is about social skills. Okay, we're trying to create young leaders. Okay, but we also need to, utilize some social skills and grow within that. How to communicate to each other. All right, how to handle situations respectfully and appropriately. All right, how to avoid bullying. How to communicate with older. Okay, older meaning me. Communicate to adults. Okay, that something's going on. So that's what our GGI is about. But again, this year with being virtual, it's going to be a little bit twisted. A little bit things maybe about careers and things like that. But for 5th and 6th, we're still going to do some of the social skills growth in GGI. We're also going to monthly awards. We do monthly academic awards. I know for 5th and 6th grade, we're going to do a student of the week. We've been doing that. We give them a nice certificate and a candy bar, things like that. I'm going to be out. I'm going to be out in the community. So after the awards are given out, I'll deliver them to the house. That's what we're going to do. I'll give you fair enough warning that I may be coming by and just, drop those off because we want these kids, again, get some type of normalcy back. Okay. We love the awards and it's a great achievement for them and we just love to see it. Ratings. We have a rating system starting lowest to the top: concern, neutral, positive, pledge, student government, and possibly board member. All right. Reasons being, what we like to do, it's all about trust. And for the most part, these are great kids, but sometimes we make mistakes. So we have to be held accountable and take ownership. Those are two big things for our program components. Again, ownership and accountability. So our ratings that we do it every week. And again, how are they doing some of the criteria? Are they doing their work? Are they showing up on time? Are they checking in the GGI? Are they being the model student that we want? So that's how the rating goes. And that's determined by the teachers. This is something new for 5th and 6th grade. They're going to be, before they used to work in a dyad, which was 2 teachers had the student for all day. Now they're going to be reaching out to 4 teachers in a virtual manner. So the ratings, that occurs every week. That probably will start in October once we get settled in with all that. With all the new things and virtual things coming on. And our norms, again, our norms are our expected behavior. Okay, they're the pillars of our program. So those are the things that we try to enforce. Those are the things that we try to educate the students on. Right? And going back to the ratings, like if we have a student that can recite all the norms and demonstrate all the norms, okay, those are the students that are going to rise up to potentially being board members. Okay, because they're buying into the program, okay, and doing, like we always say, doing what they're supposed to do. That's it, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Burson. Ms. Huxley, you can go ahead and fast forward to slide 15 with our contact information. If you guys want to take an opportunity as I give closing remarks to go ahead and take a screenshot of this particular screen. Here's all the important information that you guys need to know as far as the emails for everybody that's on this call. I did break it down for it to be grade specific. So again, please notate that information so that you guys could reach out if you have any questions that we don't get answered or if you think of anything moving forward. Excuse me, whoever just logged on or whoever's mic is not muted, may you please mute your mic. I do appreciate that. I can hear the feedback. Okay, thank you so much. Let's just make sure we're muting our mics, please. But as I was saying, here's all the contact information for everybody. If you need to reach out to anybody with any questions that you might think of after this session and moving forward throughout the course of this virtual learning plan, feel free to contact them. And like Mr. Ford said, we'll give you our phone numbers to streamline communication, make it easier. Email isn't always the easiest option for everybody. So we'll go ahead and take care of that. So just in closing, a lot was covered tonight. So take time to process, reflect, digest the meat and potatoes of what we discussed. I mean, there's many takeaways, and we'll go ahead and get to some questions in a second here. There's many takeaways, but a few of the main ones that I want to discuss is, we as parents, staff, and students must be accountable in doing each of our respective parts to make this virtual plan as fluid as it can possibly be. This is unprecedented times. This is not something, like Mr. Ford said, that any of us asked for. It's extremely difficult, for us to interact and teach and learn and support from a virtual standpoint, but we're trying to keep it as normal as possible. We're trying to make sure that we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's, but it is up to us as parents, staff, and students we all play a vital role in making sure that this system works as best as it possibly can. Will we have bumps in the road? Absolutely. Will there be things that maybe we didn't account for? Most certainly. But we're doing our best to try to make sure that we're being proactive in our thought process and making sure that those things are rare in their occurrences. And when it does happen, we'll be very diligent in making sure that we streamline and troubleshoot things to be better, because that's obviously what we aspire to be on a day-to-day basis. Again, attendance and active participation is paramount in this process. So just make sure that your students are engaging on a regular basis, and make sure that they're being active participants, when it comes to GGI platform, and they have opportunities to contribute and interact with their peers and their teachers. And when we do our small group sessions, it's going to take students being actively engaged in order for them to learn from a virtual standpoint, because we don't have them here in person. So that's paramount. Look, we're looking very much forward to the commencement of the school year. The odds have been stacked against us and every other educational entity around the world, but specifically in our country. But those of us who have hope and perseverance will conquer all obstacles that have been set before us. We've made it to this point, and we're going to continue to overcome. That's just the way that we operate. And, we're excited and looking very much forward to getting this thing started, so that we could get back to business and get back to some degree of normalcy here in the coming days and weeks. So that concludes our presentation. We will go ahead and open it up. Ms. Huslick, if you want to stop, go ahead, guys, screenshot that. Ms. Huslick is going to stop sharing her screen momentarily here. And we'll go ahead and open it up for questions at this particular point in time. So just, kind of take a pause. Not everybody talk at once. If you want to speak up, we'll go ahead and get your questions answered. And then, again, keep your mic muted if you're not speaking, please. And let's go ahead and get these questions answered. So any questions for us?
Are you all giving out computers, and how can I get one?
Good evening. Yes, we
Good
are.
evening.
We are distributing computers. If you did not get a phone call, that's okay. What grade is your student in?
5th, 6th, and 7th.
Okay, so you have 3 children with us. Excellent.
Yes.
So what you need to do is simply reach out to Mr. Burson for your 5th and 6th grader via email. Identify who your child is, and he will be in response. He will respond to you, excuse me, and he will make sure that a laptop. Your children are assigned a laptop for distribution. Same for Mr. Ford. For your 7th grader, reach out to him, and we'll make sure that your 7th grader is accounted for. Now, one thing I don't think I was able to go over with you guys, but you will be getting school messengers if you have not gotten them already. We are distributing laptops next week. Technology and supplemental materials for our students are being distributed next week. Those dates, you'll get a school messenger. So hopefully you guys all register for Messenger. But if you're not, please jot down these date and times right now. Okay? We will be distributing technology. If you have contacted us and told us that your child needs a computer, that's paramount. Okay? So you have to contact the school, let us know you need one so we can account for them prior to coming. Next week, the 1st, the 2nd, matter of fact, let me pull up my calendar just so I'm clear. I don't want to make any errors here. Okay, so next week on the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd, we will be giving out laptops from 10 to 4 o'clock, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, so that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. We will reconvene giving out laptops. We're not here on Friday. Okay, so we will reconvene giving out laptops the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Okay, so I'll go over those dates again. Time frame, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We must know that you need a laptop prior to coming. So a lot of you have probably already heard from us and told us that you need a laptop or you don't. So we have you inventoried. If you haven't spoke to anybody, please reach out to your team leader, let them know so we can get you accounted for and be prepared for you to come. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the following dates. The 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got a couple here in the chat, Ms. Harmon, that I'll go over. Are the students going to have a specific login provider, or are they going to be using a Google Classroom login? Pertaining to any login information, everything will be sent to the student's email address. So they're going to have logins for Google Classrooms. They're going to have logins for Zooms. They're going to have logins for assemblies, GGIs. So they will have logins for a lot of specific things. So just make sure that they're checking their emails to get all that information when it pertains to login information for anything that we're doing. Do the kids have to wear uniform? No. We are highly encouraging kids not to be in their pajamas when they are on their Zoom calls with the teachers. They do not have to wear their uniform, shirt and tie, but we do advise the kids to wear like a nice shirt. Last year we had a few unfortunately pop in without a shirt on, and we had to make that redirection. So no uniform, they could wear a nice shirt, you know, whatever, but they don't have to wear their uniform.
Appropriate attire.
Appropriate attire, yes. When does school start? September 14th is the first day that school will begin, September 14th. Okay?
Now, let me just touch on that, Mr. Ford, for one quick second. And you guys have to forgive me. I did give you a date that we're not going to be distributing laptops because of the Labor Day holiday, so forgive me. I'm going to go over that one more time. The dates, I gave you the time frame, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., but we're eliminating one date. We're not going to be here the 7th. So it's the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and 11th, okay? 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. That is for technology distribution if you have communicated with us and told us that you need it. Now, we were originally supposed to start sooner, but the reason why we pushed our start date back is to make sure that we can get technology to all of our students who need it, K through 12. Okay, so it's not ideal that we're starting on the 14th, but we did push that back to ensure that we're able to distribute technology to all of our families who are in need.
Copy that. Thank you, Mr. Harmon. All right, Keith, I see your comment there. Yeah, I'm not really PC friendly either, but like I said, brother, we're gonna get through this together, all right? Looking forward to seeing you too, Aziza. I miss you. Already said when the first day of school was, September 14th, okay? When the school start, again on the 14th, okay? Good evening. With everything being virtual, is it safe to assume that the current school supply list is no longer applicable? Correct. Teacher, yeah, Ms. Huslick just posted something in the chat pertaining to supplies. We also will be sending something out to every student here soon, and to let you guys know what they're gonna need for supplies and things of that nature. Obviously, to start with the virtual learning, we would consider you guys to do like a notebook and pencil for kids, for them to take notes. And then obviously they're gonna have their laptops and obviously internet. So you don't have to go buy backpacks and all that stuff right now, but we're gonna give you a list for virtual learning, and we're gonna give you a list for whenever school starts back as well, okay? So that's a supply question. Somebody said bye, goodbye. Good evening, we need a laptop, I got you. Zamai Pettis, I will take care of that and make sure you guys get a laptop. What do you do if you can't pick up the meals? So if you can't pick them up, I'm pretty sure us as staff member, we can just reach out to whoever your team leader is, and then we could possibly figure something out for you guys. Maybe we can hand deliver it ourselves. You know, that could be, you know, we'll touch base with Mr. Harmon and see if that's something that we could do for you guys if you are unable to come pick up.
We certainly will, Mr. Ford. Anybody who's concerned about that, if you can't come to campus to pick up the meals for whatever reason, between Monday at that particular point in time, our hope is that you can come pick up the meal. But if you can't, we will make accommodations, and we will see to it that we accommodate you as best as we can and get those meals delivered to you. Just reach out to us and communicate.
Copy that. I hope that answers your question, Melissa. Just reach out to whoever your team leader is, and we'll get that taken care of for you. Are the kids going to have breaks? Yes, we're going to follow a normal school schedule. There's still going to be Thanksgiving. There's still going to be Christmas and all that other stuff. So yes, the kids will have breaks. And I think school is around 2:30. So once that's done and completed, obviously they're done for the remainder of the day.
Mr. Ford, if I could just chime in real quick there. Mr. Ford?
Yes,
if I could just chime in real quick there. I saw a question earlier about the asynchronous model, and I'm not sure if the breaks were in reference to holidays, but maybe if the question was in reference to, as I kind of saw another one earlier, the school day, and Ms. Hutzlick, maybe you could cover this a little bit. We will have due dates and times for assignments to be submitted, but our expectation is not that, a student sits on the computer for 6, 7, 8 hours for the day. There's going to be times like assembly, obviously, and GGI that we want them to be on. And then there's going to be small group instruction that is happening, but there are going to be times for the students to have flexibility to work at their own pace as long as they are meeting the deadlines that are set forth by their teachers in their APEX course or their Accelerate program for you 5th grade families. So understand that our expectation is not for students to sit in front of a computer for 6 hours, but it will take them being responsible enough to know when their deadlines are going to be, when things need to be submitted, when small group sessions are happening, so forth and so on. Steph, did I miss anything there?
No, you pretty much covered it. Also, the school day schedule, that it'll be a little bit shorter. So notice that, like, again, the assemblies are earlier in the day than they would normally be, and the morning assemblies are a little later in the day than they normally be. Students will also have a whole hour for lunch. And again, they'll be meeting in small groups with their teacher, but other than that, they'll be having like kind of time to be working on their own a little bit and independently.
Copy that. Next question. The week of the 8th, is there task assigned to students? Ms. Hutzler can probably hit on this a little bit, but as of right now, there is no task assigned to students. We're gonna leave that week open for teachers to start reaching out to the kids and getting to know them, so they can know who's on the roster, who their teacher is, et cetera, et cetera. So there will be no work that week, but teachers will be reaching out to the kids that week to let them know who's their homeroom and things of that nature, like a get to know you type thing from teachers to the students. Okay, is that pretty much correct, Steph?
Yep. So I know that week of the 8th, all the teachers did a back to school virtual video for you guys. Since they won't get to meet everyone in person, they recorded a video to share with the students. Some of the teachers have already started inviting students through their school email to the Google Classroom. So if that's the case, you'll get to go on and meet those teachers. But the 8th, those videos will be posted. And then that week will be a lot of time for, again, them to log on to Zooms, but they're not mandatory to get to know the teachers. Some things such as expectations might be posted in there. Again, the school norms, and maybe even some things for like how to get to know and use the programs.
Right. And that goes to the next question. When will my child know what teachers assigned? Probably that week of the 8th, we will be reaching out and letting the kids know who their teachers are going to be for the year. So just stand by, and teachers will be reaching out to you guys very shortly. Can you verify that 5th graders will be seeing 4 teachers this year, Mr. Burson?
Hey, Mr. Ford, I'm not sure if it's connectivity. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Okay.
Okay, here we are. I got you now.
All right, yes. Mr. Burson, if you want to chime in on this next question about 5th grade.
Which one is it?
Yeah, that's correct.
4 teachers?
Yep, the 5th grade teachers will have 4 teachers this year. They'll have an ELA, which is reading. They'll have a science, a social studies, and a math teacher, along with that gym teacher that they'll have to do the gym assignments for.
Yes. Okay. So yes, 4 teachers for 5th grade there. Okay. Ms. Arm, can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly now. Mr. Hargrove, are you still on the call? Okay, he is not.
All right. Next question. Is there a timeline for how long this online schooling is going to last? As of right now, there is no timeline. Obviously, we are going to be going off of what the CDC and, the government and the state recommends for us to do. So we don't have a timeline. Right now, we're looking at going into November for the online schooling, but that can change. It could go later than November, or it could be earlier than November. We don't know. So we definitely will keep you guys posted and let you know if things change when it comes to the timeline of online schooling. When will my child know who the teacher is? The week of the 8th, we'll be reaching out and letting the kids know who their teachers are. Kids are logging in at 8:30 and logging off at 3. It's continuous with breaking for lunch. Correct. Yes. So 8:30 starts the day with assembly. Maybe 2:30 possibly will be the end of the day for the students. And then they do get a break for lunch in between just to have a little break before they continue to do more work in the afternoon. Okay. If my child is new to the school, how will she receive her login information? Reach out, please, to your team leader. And we have every single log information for every student. Whoever your child is with, just reach out to us and we can get that login information for you. Are there new school student calendars for 2020 year? Yes. We will at some point get those schedules, calendars out to you guys so you can have that for the school year. Obviously, it's going to be a little different, maybe, but things might get a little revamped. But we do have a calendar that we'll possibly send out to you guys here pretty soon.
Mr. Ford.
Yes, sir.
If I could chime in, just because I got a question privately and I don't want to forget to answer it.
Go ahead, sir.
Is there an in-person assessment prior to the first day of school? I'm asking because my 3rd grader is scheduled for an in-person meeting with their teacher. Now, elementary is a little bit different than middle school. So, and Ms. Hutzlick, I'm not sure if you can speak on 5th and 6th grade, but I don't believe we are facilitating as a middle school any in-person assessments. All of our assessments will be done virtually for middle school. Okay, so elementary is doing things a little bit differently because that age demographic of kids, they require a little bit more one-to-one facilitation to know kind of what's going on. But with our particular demographic of children, we will not be doing in-person assessments. Those assessments will be done virtually, and we will communicate to you what that will look like in the coming days and weeks. And I also, real quick, Mr. Ford, and I appreciate you for being in the chat. You're doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
There was a question about Power School, and Mr. Hargrove, I have to call him and apologize because he was on the call. I don't believe he's with us anymore. Danny, if you're there, please speak up. But Mr. Hargrove is our point person for Power School. If there's any issue as far as login credentials and you're in the dark about anything as far as Power School is concerned, you can reach out to the main office and ask to be put in contact with Mr. Hargrove. Or you can reach out to your team leader. That probably will expedite things much more. You can reach out to Mr. Ford or Mr. Burson, and they will take care of whatever credentials that you need, login, passwords, and website, and all that good stuff as far as Power School is concerned. Thank you, Mr. Ford.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir. And I would highly encourage my 7th and 8th grade parents to reach out to me if you have any Power School information. I will get that done quick, fast, and a hurry for you guys. So if any Power School information, email or text me, and I'll get it done fast for you. All right. Again, when will my child know what teachers assigned to him? We will get that done the week of the 8th. How do we go about Wi-Fi if the child don't have it? Again, Mr. Burson alluded to this earlier. In the back of the school, we set up a patio. The school has Wi-Fi that you'll be able to utilize outside of the building. Social distancing parameters are in place. We have tables back there for you guys to sit down and kids can come and get their work done. But last year, I know in the fourth quarter last year, Service Electric and RCN offered free internet to families in need. So you guys can definitely reach out to them and see if they're still providing those services. But we personally don't know if they are still. So I would say just reach out to them if you guys don't have Wi-Fi for your kids. But we are providing it this year. Back of the building, underneath the pavilion, you guys will have Wi-Fi access if a kid needs Wi-Fi.
Now, in addition to that, space is limited. Okay, we have 1,300 students here, probably over 1,300 students actually. It's on a first come, first served basis. All right, so that could be a little tricky, especially with middle school kids. You know, so if you do come to campus to utilize our Wi-Fi, I do encourage communicating with us in advance. Again, communicate with your team leader. Let them know, hey, you have a connectivity issue. Maybe we can support you along the way with trying to get you connectivity at your residence, like Mr. Ford just alluded to. But if you have to come to campus for whatever reason, and for your child to use the Wi-Fi, we do have social distancing parameters in place. It will be on a first come, first served basis. And we will not be able to accommodate after a certain number of kids are on campus if they're utilizing the Wi-Fi. So please just keep that in mind. The best case scenario is going to be for you to try to be resourceful, and we can help support with that again and try to get connectivity at your residence.
Yes, sir. Copy that.
That is something I'm really going to be trying to look into a little bit more, making some calls just within the resources, even discounts, anything that can be offered for families and virtual internet. And like Mr. Ford had stated, there were a lot of different resources who were offering free internet access, but this year's a little different. So I will be getting that information and hopefully pushing it out to the families.
Copy that. Thank you, Mr. Shoemaker. When is the week of the 8th? September 8th, which is the day after Labor Day. That's when we will start reaching out to students and letting them know all the information they are going to need for the following week to get school started and rock and rolling. And then the last question here, my son Jack starting 5th grade and my daughter Victoria starting kindergarten. Oh, they would like to say hi. Hi, Victoria and Jack. Can't wait to see you guys in the near future here. Again, we miss all of you guys. We thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. Very good turnout. I know I'm probably stealing Mr. Harmon's closing remarks here, but very good turnout, guys. Thank you for logging on with us here.
Say hi.
Please. What's up? Please, if you guys have any questions after this Zoom concludes, email us ASAP so we can get those answers, questions answered for you, okay? Hi, Daniela. What's up, girl? I see you over there. All right. So I'm done talking. Miss you guys. Love you guys. What's up, Bradley? My guy, Bradley. All right, Mr. Harmon.
No, excellent job. Excellent job to everybody. Again, thank you guys for being with us and taking time out of your schedules. Hopefully we were able to answer all your questions, but like Mr. Ford said, reach out to us if we didn't get a chance. If you think of something after this session, I think we covered all the bases and we'll communicate with you guys. We got a little bit before school starts, but we're ready to get rock and rolling. So have a blessed night. Have a blessed weekend. Be safe. And we'll see you guys and talk to you guys all soon. Take care.
Bye, Quinn. Bye, Daniela.